Welcome to Intro to BattleMechs, The Locust, Part 1. Where does an interested player begin learning about the lore and battlefield rules of BattleMechs? For newcomers to BattleTech, it can be a bit overwhelming with the number of units available to choose from, as there are many hundreds of unique models, each with their own number of variants leading to a pool of thousands of unique BattleMechs. Well, one of the best places to get into BattleTech is the A Game of Armored Combat box set. This is where a lot of new players start. This box comes with a great set of BattleMechs to begin with, so in these first few videos, we'll begin covering the basic lore and battlefield rules of these 8 mechs, starting with the lightest, the 20-ton Locust. First developed in $24.99, the first production model of the Locust, the LCT-1V, was produced by Bergen Industries at a factory on the Capellan world of Ares. Developed to be an effective scout mech, it is very quick, especially for the time. With a maximum speed of 129 km per hour, made possible with its LTV-160 power plant. Its most notable disadvantage, mobility-wise, is the absence of jump jets. Even with its intense speed, its Star Slab 1 armor made it well protected for its weight class. While fast, it is lightly armed with only a single Martel medium laser and 2 Sperry Browning machine guns, giving it limited firepower and range. The lack of martial capabilities made the Locust generally unfavorable among mech warriors. However, the reliability and cheap cost production made the Locust one of the most common mechs in the Inner Sphere, and even more common in the Periphery states throughout all eras. Battlefield rules the Locust plays part in. As mentioned before, the Locust was primarily developed as a scout mech, to be used for reconnaissance purposes or spotting, without the intention of actual combat. However, a few variants of the Locust serve different purposes, such as Striker, a role with the intention of getting into direct combat with hit-and-run tactics, or even the role of missile boat hitting enemies from a distance with long-range missiles. We'll take a look at a handful of variants produced across the eras of the BattleTech fiction for use in the tabletop game. We will cover Locust speed, equipment, and roles. Let's begin with the units produced during the Star League era. First, we have the original, developed in $24.99 for House Liao. The LCT-1V has a walking speed of 8 and a running speed of 12. It is equipped with 1 medium laser, 2 machine guns, and has a standard fusion engine. This 432 BV variant plays the role of scout. The medium laser gives the 1V a maximum weapon range of 9 hexes, but the machine gun's short range of 1 makes this variant most effective at adjacency to its targets. Thankfully, it has the speed to drive its movement modifier up while snugging up close to another mech's back, although melee range is a scary place for a light mech to be. The 1V also has 10 heat sinks, which is more than enough to run and fire all 3 of its weapons every turn. Next, we have the LCT-1S, produced for House Steiner in 2567. This variant keeps the standard speed of 8-12 and is equipped with 1 medium laser, 2 SRM-2s, and also has a standard fusion engine. The heavier weaponry comes at a cost to 1 ton of armor. This 440 BV variant plays the role of scout. The SRM-2s and medium laser on the 1S share the same range brackets, meaning this variant has a maximum range of 9 hexes, like the 1V, but a short range of 3 as its most effective distance. The lighter armor keeps this mech from wanting to get near an enemy anyway. The 1S also has 10 heat sinks, more than enough to run and fire everything each turn. The LCT-1M, produced for House Davian in 2571, also keeps the 8-12 speed. This variant is equipped with 1 medium laser, 2 LRM-5s, and a standard fusion engine. The addition of 2 LRMs costs the 1M 3 tons of armor. This 424 BV variant plays the role of missile boat. The LRM-5s give the 1M a maximum range of 21. However, the minimum range of 6 and short range of 7 for the LRMs keeps the medium laser from being effective while also using the missiles, as this distance keeps the medium laser at an inaccurate long range. This complication, combined with the laughable armor on this variant, makes speed and distance key. Although the 1M has a larger missile system than the 1S, it has a smaller spread. The 10 heat sinks installed in the 1M is more than enough to dissipate all heat from running and gunning each turn. A royal version of the 1V was developed for the Star League Defense Force in 2610, known as the LCT-1VB. This advanced Locust still has the 812 movement speed, but was equipped with a standard medium laser, 2 medium pulse lasers, and 2 small pulse lasers, all made possible by the inclusion of an extralight fusion engine and endosteel structure. The installation of ferrofibrous armor gave this Locust slightly more armor than average as well. Unfortunately, the technologies used in the 1VB were essentially lost during the Succession Wars, to not be seen again until the mid-31st century. This 642 BV variant plays the role of striker. Like the standard 1V, the 1VB has a maximum range of 9 due to the medium laser. However, the array of medium and small pulse lasers gives this variant much better accuracy and firepower. The 10 double heat sinks allows it to sink all heat from running and firing its many energy weapons each turn. A note on this variant: it was built exclusively for the SLDF and would be very rare to see outside of that force or this era. Next, let's take a look at a few Locusts from the Succession Wars era. The LCT-1E, produced in 2811 for House Liao, has a speed of 812. Bergen Industries, at the request of the Capellan Confederation, who had a special request to drop the Locust reliance on ammunition, equipped the 1E with 2 medium lasers, 2 small lasers, and a standard fusion engine. This 553 BV variant plays the role of Scout. While this variant has a maximum range of 9, the inclusion of the 2 small lasers keeps the most effective range at 1. The 10 heat sinks are exactly enough to perfectly manage the heat produced by running and firing all weapons each turn. CT-3V, produced in 3004, has an 812 movement speed. This variant is quite close to the 1V model, with the only real difference being the addition of a second medium laser at the cost of machine gun ammunition. This 490 BV variant plays the role of Scout. Since this shares the same weapon profiles as the 1V, its most damaging range is within melee at 1 hex. With 10 heat sinks, it has plenty to run and fire all its weapons each turn. The last Locust variant introduced in the Succession Wars era is the LCT-1L. This variant, produced in 3030 by Bergen Industries, was used to test the limits of the Locust's speed with the addition of upgraded triple-strength myomer. This allows the pilot to drive up the mech's heat to add to its movement. So while this variant is almost identical to the original LCT-1V, with enough heat buildup, the 812 movement bumps up to a 914. This 474 BV variant plays the role of Scout. The 10 heat sinks will sink any heat generated from running and firing all weapons each turn. The LCT-1L would follow the same strategies as the LCT-1V. Get right up into your target's back and pray. Let's look at some Clan Invasion era produced Locusts. The LCT-3D, developed in 3049 by Achernar BattleMechs for the Federated Suns, keeps the standard 812 speed. Like the 1M variant, the 3D is equipped with a standard fusion engine and 2 LRM-5s, but does not include any other weapons, not even the usual medium laser. This variant, due to the rediscovery of lost technology, is also upgraded with endosteel and ferrofibrous armor. Even with the structural upgrades, the 3D is fragile and relies on its distance and speed to harass its enemies. This 436 BV variant plays the role of missile boat. Due to its lack of energy weapons, the 10 heat sinks is plenty enough to dissipate any heat generated by the 3D's actions each turn. The LCT-3S, also developed in 3049, this time by Defiance Industries for the Lyran Commonwealth, has a Locust standard speed of 812. This variant has a standard fusion engine and brings back the medium laser with the addition of 2 Streak SRM2s. The 3S is most effective at close to medium range, as all of its weapons share the same profile with a maximum range of 9 and a short range of 3. The Streak SRM2s maximize their damage potential on a successful hit. This 483 BV variant plays the role of Striker. Its 10 heat sinks are just enough to cover running and firing all weapons each turn. Lastly, the LCT-3M, produced in 3050 for the Free Worlds League, keeps the 812 movement speed of the preceding Locust variants. The 3M is equipped with a standard fusion engine. It loses the usual 2 machine guns to be replaced with 4 small lasers and an anti-missile system. It still retains the medium laser. Taking advantage of the rediscovered SLDF technology, this variant is equipped with endosteel and ferrofibrous armor. The anti-missile system adds a bit of defense to the 3M, at least against missile-type weapons. However, this variant will need to get quite close to deal any damage, as the small lasers have a maximum range of 3. This 522 BV variant plays the role of Scout. Its 10 heat sinks can cover a full turn of running and firing all 5 of its weapons. This covers the Locusts produced from the Star League era up to the Clan Invasion era. There are well over a dozen more designs produced in future eras. When playing with the optional rule of design quirks, the Locust uses these. Narrow or low profile, which makes the Locust harder to hit. Ubiquitous, which makes it easier to find replacement parts for campaign play. Cramped cockpit, which makes piloting skill rolls more difficult to perform. No or minimal arms, which makes it more difficult to stand and impossible to make physical attacks with its arms, such as punches. And weak legs, which makes death from above attacks performed by the Locust and kicks received more damaging to the Locust itself. The detailed rules for these design quirks can be found in the BattleMech manual. Like mentioned before, there are well over a dozen additional variants of the Locust produced across later eras, and even more when considering clan variants. We will cover some of these in a later video, but the mechs covered here are a good place to start for beginners. The Locust is a great workhorse of a light mech, and everyone in known space has them, so they're greatly available when building a lore-friendly lance of BattleMechs. Remember, speed is key with the Locust. It does not have the armor to be hit by most weapons, but its speed can make up for that if played well. Use it to tempt your enemies away from your other forces and get in a good hit only when safely possible. Take advantage of that speed and get in and rip apart the enemy's rear armor. Thanks for watching the first video in our Intro to BattleMech series. I hope you enjoyed it and learned something. Please let me know other mechs outside of the A Game of Armored Combat box you might want to learn about. If you did end up enjoying this video, please give a like and maybe consider subscribing. Comments are always welcome, so please feel free to leave one. In the next video in this series, we'll cover the Commando. Take care, and we'll see you next time.